Hey, this is Ishar, and in today's talk, what I want to go over is how to align your life with your purpose. And I'd like to preface this by saying if you feel that these suggestions feel like a chore or they are too serious, then that's a sign that maybe you're taking this a bit too far or too seriously. So these are just more like suggestions and guidelines so you can experience greater freedom and joy rather than rules that you must follow. So what I mean by aligning your life to your purpose is that we want to take audit over life, and we can look at different modalities such as time, money, attention, our daily habits, and we want to see how these things in our lives serve us in our greater life direction. And it's not really important that we have a goal in life, rather we should have an intention or a forward-moving direction of somewhere. Otherwise, you'll feel very lost in life. And in our culture, we aren't really taught how to ultimately align our life with our purpose. We may see this in some examples in different cleaning environments. We might have seen, we've heard of the term spring cleaning, and this is where we routinely go over our clothes that we may not need and get rid of it. And also, Marie Kondo has become very popular recently, and her movement about decluttering has become very popular. And this is where people start to take audit of their material possessions to see how that aligns with their life. But I want to go a bit further into this and really go deeper into how we can align our life to our purpose. And many successful people intuitively understand this. Kobe Bryant, for example, would take on ballet classes to improve his basketball skills because he'd understand that certain things in certain movements in ballet would strengthen his tendons and improve his balance, and that would help his professional game when he plays basketball. And this is just one example of how he took control of his life to see how are different things in my life serving my overall life purpose. And in his example, it's basketball. But for you, we can start to look at different factors and different variables in our life to see how that serves us in a greater way. And in a moment, I'll provide some different modalities on how we can align our life, but just realize that these variables vary from individual to individual. So it's a truly personal experience because you'll find that, say you take the modality of attention and you like watching the news, right? So your attention is going towards this action of watching the news. This may not be very helpful for you if you are trying to improve your vibration or great for your spiritual well-being, but watching the news can be great if you're into politics or journalism because it's very connected to your life's purpose. So it really varies between the individual. So now let's start to go into these different modalities that you can take a look at and start to audit your life. So the first being time. So we only have a limited amount of time, and how you spend your time has a great impact on how you'll feel. Start to look at your life and how you spend your time hour by hour. Is it spent doing productive things? To just take a note of this, and you can even have a journal and start to note down what you do hour by hour. What activities do you take part in? How much of your time is spent on activities that don't really bring you that joy? Maybe you're spending a lot of time in dead zones, watching TV or just scrolling through Facebook endlessly. So you can start to take note of what actions throughout your day can be kept and what can be replaced with something a bit more beneficial. So time is very valuable and we only have a limited amount, so make use of it. The next is attention. So attention is power. So there's 1,000 different things you can be focusing on in this present moment. And the question is, what are you focusing on? So you want to be very mindful of how you spend your attention and energy, and whether the things that you focus on bring you more joy, or whether they start to derail you, or they're just frivolous and you just spend it anyhow and your energy is scattered all over the place. So you want to have more of a unity in place so you can experience more joy in your life. So what are you looking at? What different websites are you browsing? What sources of media do you take into account? What do you spend your time researching? Are you spending more time looking into things that you like and learning more about it? Or are you just spending your attention into social media, like I mentioned, or entertainment? So again, these are not good or bad, but rather does it serve your life? The next would be money. So often we aren't very mindful of how we allocate our money. And I'll give you an example, and one of it was this mic that I'm talking to. So as you know, I make a lot of different talks and different videos, and I was always thinking about getting a new mic, but I never really invested in it. And I would get comments because my last mic, if you take a look at my older videos and older talks, the audio was like really bad, and people would actually make comments about that. And I started to think about this. Why haven't I started to get a new mic? Because this is something I do quite often, and I've made, hundreds of videos. So why not invest in a better mic? And it wasn't like I didn't have the money to do it. But when I started to audit my finances, I started to realize, oh my God, I've been spending all my money on entertainment or going out, and I could have better spent my money on this mic. And once I got this mic, it was actually very fulfilling for me, because this is something I'm very passionate about, and this is serving, and I'm starting to align my life towards my greater purpose. So this is one example of how I did this. So you can start to think of how can you optimally spend your money so that it serves you rather than brings you down. So money is one modality. Then we also have cities, so where you choose to live. And we intuitively understand this because there are certain cities that are great for certain purposes. So we may have heard of the stereotype that Manhattan is great for hustling. And, if you have a period or phase in your life where you want to get things done, maybe moving to Manhattan could be great, because the minute you step into Manhattan, the energy is just there. People are rushing from place to place. The city's open basically 24/7. As people just running from one place to the next, working on their business. So it's a great place if you have a lot of ambition. However, if you are trying to focus more on your spiritual life, maybe that might not be the best place. So if you went to Hawaii, maybe that being around the ocean, the beautiful tropics, can have a soothing effect on you. So you don't go to New York to feel relaxed, rather you go there to get things done. And you typically would go to Hawaii to vacation or relax. And even the natives, and locals that live in Hawaii, if you go there, they seem to be a bit more relaxed on average compared to New York. And this is something we just intuitively understand, but hasn't been really said quite often. So knowing and choosing where to live and aligning your life around that can also have an impact on your day-to-day life. So where you live is also very important. Another modality you can look into is the friends that you have. So the people you associate with, acquaintances, good friends. There is a saying that goes, you are the sum of your 5 closest friends. And this is very true, because your friends have an impact on how you conduct your life. So if all your friends were, working out 6 a.m., you may feel that FOMO, the fear of missing out, because all your friends are there and you're like, oh shoot, I shouldn't have slept in. Now, if you had friends that like to play video games and they have more of a sedentary lifestyle and they just love looking at the next game release and they're all into that, if all of your friends got the latest video game and you didn't, you'd feel left out. And you'd feel the urge to go buy that video game. So your friends have an influence on your decisions, whether you realize it or not. So choosing to surround yourself with the right types of friends can either help you or hurt you. So friends are very important. Then we also have diet. Whether you choose to have a vegetarian diet or vegan diet, meat-based diet, there's a lot of different diets you can choose and different ways you can eat that can serve you or not serve you. So you can take a look into that, because your food has a direct impact on your mood. So how do you want to feel? Start to think about that. Then we also have possessions. That's another modality you can look at. So having possessions or lack of possessions. So it can be good to declutter and get rid of your items, even the ones that you really value. If you get rid of them, that can teach you a lesson on getting rid of things and not having attachment to material possessions. So you might notice, if you follow the Buddhist path, or like looking after like spiritual path, a lot of the monks get rid of all their possessions except for like a bowl, right? And that's because they want to get rid of their attachments. However, if you got rid of everything, maybe that might not help you if, say you're making videos like me, and I'll use that example again. If I got rid of all my possessions like my mic, then I wouldn't be able to produce this content. So that wouldn't help me. But if I wanted to become a monk, I would get rid of this mic. So again, it varies between person to person and also your individual situation. So simplifying can be great to declutter and you'll have a clear mind, or upgrading to get the better thing can also be very beneficial for you as well. So that is also a personal decision. Can you also get the best equipment of whatever you're doing, or the best version of whatever you're passionate about, instead of spending your money everywhere? So take an audit of what you spend and what possessions you have. Then we also have clothing as another modality, because your clothing has an influence on not only how other people treat you, but also how you see yourself. So you'll clearly notice this. If you wear a suit, you'll be in a different state of mind compared to if you wore sweatpants. You'll feel a bit more relaxed. Tight clothing has an effect on you compared to loose clothing. Wearing a robe has a different effect compared to wearing an Armani suit. So by dressing in a specific way and also different styles, you tap into certain realities. And also, you can tap into the reality that you want by changing your outfit as well. This is why when people go over makeovers or they change their wardrobe, they feel a lot different. And you can see these different shows about that as well. You might have heard the quote, dress for the job that you want, not the job that you have. Because when you dress in a certain way and dress to the certain reality that you want, you start to align that into your life. So take audit into your clothes. How can you dress in a certain way that it aligns to your life? So these are just a few examples, and I don't want to go on too far, but you can start to think about different ways you can start to change your life and start to look into these different factors. So time, attention, money, where you live, the friends that you have, your diet, your lifestyle, your possessions, your clothing. I mean, the list can go on, but start to think about how you can be more mindful about how you can bring more joy into your life. So again, this is not supposed to be something that's a chore or something that's very serious. Rather, this exercise is meant for you to experience greater joy in your life. So take a journal, write down different things, and how can you change? So I would like to know from you in the comments down below, what is one step you'll take to align your life to your purpose? Just a small step into the right direction. So I'd like to know. Thank you again for watching.